Welcome to MySci Unit 13, Avoiding Extinction. This is a third grade life science unit. The unit begins with students exploring extinct animals and plants, and will then consider the case of the greater prairie chicken and why it is at risk of becoming extinct. Let's take a look into the unit at a glance. This unit covers a few third grade life science standards. One involves analyzing data from fossils for evidence of the organisms and environments of long ago. Another standard focuses on constructing an argument that in a habitat, some organisms can survive well, while others not as well or not at all. For the third life science standard, students will make a claim about the merit of a solution to a problem caused by environmental change and its impact on plants and animals. One earth science standard is partially covered on describing climates in different regions of the world. All dimensions of these standards have been covered in the unit. Half of the next generation science standards correspond to a Missouri Learning Standard listed in parentheses on this chart. If you'd like, take a moment to pause the video and review them. This unit is divided into 3 sections. Each section has a driving question designed to reflect what we anticipate students would naturally ask through the learning process. Sections 1 and 2 address an anchoring phenomenon with 2 lessons each. Section 3 considers the anchoring problem and has 3 lessons. Overall, the unit should take about 29 days to complete. The anchoring phenomenon is dinosaurs and megafauna used to live on Earth, but many of them are now extinct. Students will explore evidence of prehistoric life and how many organisms that used to be alive are no longer present on Earth today. The driving question for Section 1 is, how do we know what extinct plants and animals looked like? Students connect to the anchoring phenomenon by asking questions about prehistoric life and analyzing fossil data using puzzle pieces and pictures. They then assemble a model of an extinct animal, comparing it to drawings to learn more about prehistoric life. The section concludes as students analyze real fossils of marine and land organisms, along with related text, to understand how organisms and the environment has and will change over time. Through the storyline in Section 1, students gain an understanding of these standards-based big ideas. Fossils are the preserved remains of plants and animals. Scientists, called paleontologists, study fossils to learn more about life in the past. The fossils found in a region can give clues about the nature of environments of long ago. Section 1 should take about 8 days to complete. The driving question for Section 2 is, why did some animals and plants of the past survive while others did not? In this section, students approach the driving question by making observations of present-day habitats. They identify which adaptations of the organisms living there help them to survive. Then, students compare different environments around the globe to identify and describe types of climates. Students next play a game on environmental changes that simulate the dinosaur era and life on Earth before and after that asteroid hit. The section concludes as students construct an explanation on how changes to the environment affect the survival of various species. Through the storyline of Section 2, students gain an understanding of these standards-based big ideas. Organisms have adaptations that help them survive in their environment. Organisms in different environments have different adaptations. If the environment changes, some organisms might not be able to survive. Section 2 should take about 7 to 8 days to complete. The anchoring problem is, the prairie chicken, a relative of the dinosaurs, is disappearing. Students analyze data about the population of prairie chickens and will start to wonder why their numbers are decreasing. The driving question for Section 3 is, how can we protect the prairie chicken? After being introduced to the anchoring problem, students investigate the living and non-living parts of an ecosystem. They will use prairie ecosystem cards to describe why the declining prairie chicken population is a problem. Then, students will explore the causes of this decline and use evidence to construct an explanation on how changes to the ecosystem affect the prairie chicken. Next, students evaluate and compare various solutions by participating in a class debate on how to best protect the prairie chicken. The section and unit conclude as students apply their learning to construct an argument about what caused the prairie chicken decline and ways their populations can be protected. Through the storyline in Section 3, students gain an understanding of these standards-based big ideas. Populations of organisms live in a habitat and are connected to each other within an ecosystem. When organisms in a habitat change, it can affect the other organisms living there. Humans can cause changes to ecosystems. When a place's characteristics and availability of resources change, it can negatively affect the populations that live there. There are many possible solutions to a problem, and solutions can be evaluated based on how well they solve that problem. Section 3 should take about 11 to 13 days to complete. Our team here at MySci hopes you and your students enjoy avoiding extinction and being conservation science heroes. We look forward to your feedback. Happy MySciencing!